everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're finally going to do a wear test of the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. I did first impressions of this foundation, I would say about a year ago, because I got this from Ulta Beauty World, and Ulta Beauty World was a year ago. And I wanted to do a wear test on it, but back then I was dealing with a really bad eyelid eczema flare-up, and I just didn't know what was causing it, and I figured out what the culprit was and the product was, and I've thrown that away. And then I've given my eye some time to heal, and finally there are no bumps or dry patches or scales on my eye, and I feel like I can finally do wear tests again. We're doing this today. Also, just want to apologize in advance. I don't often film during the day because, I don't know if you can hear, but there's always something going on in my block, and today I guess it's construction. Sometimes living in New York means there's always construction happening. I'm gonna prep my skin the way I prep my skin for all of my foundation wear test videos. We're gonna use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I think it's like the most neutral primer I have, in that it doesn't claim to like fill pores or oil control. It literally is just a moisturizer that I think works beautifully. But I like to give all of my foundations a fair test, so we always use the same product. Let's go in with this foundation, which I just don't like having to put this on my fingers. I don't necessarily like touching my foundation. I think that's what's kind of stopped me from using it. I'm the shade ST1 Rendezvous. Okay, I really liked how this looked. I just hate putting it in my fingers. I don't know, some people love applying that way. I just don't. Okay. And then I'm just gonna take my beauty blender, and in the areas where obviously it's not gonna be a perfect application with your fingers, so we're just gonna pounce out and kind of give it this like even application. It still does look really nice. I have had this for about a year, and I will say this time around when I applied it, it did have a slight scent to it. Don't know what that means yet, but this is what the foundation looks like on application alone. As you can see, really nice. I would say off the bat, like a nice light coverage. Does look dewy, and I think the primer I used definitely helped that, but it looks really good. You know, I still have all of my beauty marks. It still looks like my skin. I'm just gonna put on the rest of my makeup. I'm gonna do something very light and easy today because I have an interview today, and then we'll come back for our first of 4 check-ins. It is about 9:30 right now, and I plan to be done with my makeup by 10, but we'll say I'm gonna try to wear this until 9:30 tonight to have a nice 12-hour wear test. So I'll see you guys when I'm done with my makeup. I just wanted to check in really quickly before I finish the rest of my makeup to show you guys what it looks like with my face set with powder, and then I'm going to go in and set it with MAC Fix Plus. I always use MAC Fix Plus when I'm doing a wear test because I feel like it is the most neutral of the setting sprays, so we really get to see what the foundation does on its own. This is what the foundation is looking like with all of my makeup done and with powder on top. So I still think it looks really gorgeous. I actually feel, and I don't feel this way for many foundations, but I feel like it looks better when it's set. When this foundation is set, it like gains coverage. Like you start out with light coverage, and now I feel like it's almost like medium coverage. Things layer really beautifully on top of it. I had no problem blending, and I think everything just looks so nice. And even though it is like more coverage than I started with, it still looks like my skin. I'm gonna set this with them Fix Plus. I put on so much. Okay, and now we'll do a little close-up with everything set with setting spray. Setting spray definitely revitalizes the foundation, and it looks dewier again and way more like, almost like a, I'm gonna call it a rich satin because it is like more moisturized, I think, than a satin finish foundation, but it's not quite dewy anymore, but it still looks really nice. Everything, like I said, looks beautiful on top. I'm really impressed with how my chin is looking. It is the driest area of my face, and sometimes when I powder it after using a foundation, it starts to like clump in like the area right here, but doesn't look clumped at all. It doesn't look dry at all, which is crazy. And that's the driest part of my face now that I'm aging. Okay, she's done, I'm done. This is the final look for today. Like I said before, I have an interview today, so I had to keep it light. But I also, it's not about the eyes today, it's about the face, it's about the base. So this is what we're working with. Chin, still looking nice and shiny and hydrated, I love that. Face still looking really, really nice and flawless. Really skin-like. Under eyes. Cheeks. Again, looking beautiful. Looking like my skin. Forehead, not looking heavy or cakey. My nose even doesn't look very oily yet. And sometimes I get oily in my nose, which is the only area of my face I get oily, which is weird. It's looking beautiful. I would wear this look out. Like I'd wear this to like a gala or a big event. I don't usually check flashback because it doesn't really bother me. But because this has SPF, I just want to see what it looks like. Oh, bless, I don't ever do this. Okay. I don't know, is that flashback? I don't really see any. I don't really see flashback. So I'm gonna go turn on the AC because it's finally warm in New York. And I'm going to, it is 10 o'clock now. I knew I finished my makeup by 10 o'clock, but I've had the foundation on since 9:30. So I'm gonna do a check-in at like noon, at like 5, and then at like 9:30. So we'll have 3 check-ins throughout the day. Yeah, I'll let you guys know, but I'm really excited for this, and it actually wasn't as bad applying it as I remembered it, so it could be one of those foundations that I bring with me on vacation because it's just so like one and done, and I didn't even really need the concealer. We'll see, we'll see. I'm excited to see how this is gonna go. So this is moment 1, check-in 1. We're doing great at 10 o'clock. Okay, it is the first check-in that we're doing. It is 1:41 now. I know I said I was gonna originally do it at like 1 o'clock, but then I lost track of time. Let's talk the foundation. Let's zoom in. So I finished my makeup. I started this at 9:30, so it has been 4 hours with the makeup on, and my face still looks really, really good. I think even it looks, I was a little nervous because I went into the bathroom and I was looking at the mirror like at 11 o'clock and I was like, oh, I just feel like a little powdery. But really, I think the foundation has been working with the natural oils in my skin, and it has just been looking really natural and really nice. Like, it doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel like I have anything on my face to the degree that I actually like rubbed my nose. And you can't even tell that I rubbed off very little right here on my nose. So let's just get all in close, all close and personal. So this is what the cheek is looking like. I do have a little bit of highlighter, so that's what that is. But looking really, really nice. All of my products, like my bronzer and blush, are still very prominent. Same on this side. My chin, doing great. Even my smile lines, like, I have very big smile lines, and I have been smiling because I've been on calls with coworkers, and it hasn't settled into my smile lines at all, which is pretty rare. I feel like with foundations, that's my biggest issue, is the settling into my smile lines, but really no settling at all, which is crazy. My nose, like I said, I did rub a little bit off on the side, so that was just me. I'm not used to wearing foundation, but it looks really great. And again, my forehead, like, looks really great. Everything looks really good. So 4 hours, and this is also with natural lighting because I'm too lazy to bring out my light, but it looks really, really good. I'll check in again. I'm taking myself on a date to see Hopper because I've been wanting to see it for a while. It was either that or Project Hail Mary, but the show I wanted to see was sold out. So Hopper it is. So I'll check in right before I go to see Hopper, and then right before I go to bed. So far at hour marker 4, I'm really, 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 really happy with it. This is my 8-hour check-in. This mascara has moved so much throughout the day. Let's zoom you guys in. My cheeks still look really great. I think they still look really hydrated. I still think they look really polished. I think they still look really nice and skin-like. Where I start to see the issue now, which I figured is my mouth area. I don't know if it's picking up as well on camera, but basically the top part of my lip is starting to look a little dry. Starting to look a little dry. Product is like migrating to this area of my chin, which I don't love. Also, it has just started to settle in my smile lines, but it's been 8 hours, so I don't really care about that. Same with my forehead. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it does feel like, well, it does feel like right here in between my brows is a little dry, and I can kind of see product settling into my fine lines, which again, it's been 8 hours, it's fine. Everything else still looks really nice. I still feel like I see a decent amount of my bronzer and my blush, especially on this side. I don't know, this side, was I laying on this side? I might have been laying on this side. I still think everything looks really good. I still have some of the stain on from this morning from that Persona lipstick. I do fear though, I'm gonna go see the movie Hopper, and I feel when I come back, it's not gonna look good. I think this might be an 8-hour foundation. I could eat my hat, okay? I could be wrong. but based on the telltale signs, I think maybe it's almost at its limit. It has been 12 hours now. Let's do a check-in. Okay, I just went to go see the movie Hoppers. I love animation, okay? I think animation is like such a incredible art form, and this movie made me cry and laugh and smile and feel hope. And it feels like the kind of movie we really need right now. I don't know. I know some people, when I was leaving the theater, they were like, that was a little on the nose. And I was like, this movie has been in production for years. It's not just because it's... Anyway, highly recommend. If you haven't seen it, go see it. If you ever lost someone in your life, it deals with grief. And maybe it's morbid to say, but I always enjoy watching things that have like a grief element. It makes it feel like I'm not so alone, you know? Back to the makeup. Haven't even looked in the mirror. You know? All things considered, it's not that bad. I did have my phone up to my ear. I was walking home with my phone like this because my AirPods died, so there's probably some stuff there, but let's zoom in. All right, we zoomed. Okay, let's do how we've been doing it. So I'm looking at the cheek first. The cheeks look so good. The cheeks look like I just applied them. I think the bronzer and blush have faded a little bit, but overall it still looks really beautiful, really healthy, really hydrated and glowy. We'll move on to the nose. The nose, the same. The nose actually is kind of a problem area for me because I sometimes get oily on my nose. Only area of my face that I get oily on. And this feels not oily. It looks almost uniform with the cheek. You know, it just feels like healthy. Like that's, yeah, it just feels healthy. Same with this cheek. I did take a little bit of foundation off when I was calling my friend. But that looks good. We'll move on to the forehead, which I would say actually to me feels slightly oily, which never happens to me. When I was saying the last check-in that it was settling in between my brows, I feel like that kind of went away. And maybe it's because I've been letting the natural oils of my skin kind of mix with the foundation, and so it like kind of warmed up and took it away. I also did complain about the foundation being in my smile lines around hour 8, and it's completely gone now. Which sometimes happens. I find that sometimes happens with me, that like hour 8 is actually the worst hour, but it just gets better from there. And even my mouth, like this part of my mouth, the bottom part, is not dry. It actually looks as beautiful as the cheeks and the forehead. My problem area is this upper part of my lip where I do feel like you can see it like almost bunching and it's like dry. That's not the foundation, I don't think. I think that is just my skin because it's been happening with every foundation I've used. I would say this is like the least egregious. Like I think if you're viewing me from over here, you don't notice it. It's only when you're up close. So that's crazy. I would say, okay, my 12-hour wear overall, I'm still really impressed with this foundation. I'm really impressed with the wear time. I'm really impressed with how it works, and I really like how it kind of works with my natural oils throughout the day to like fix some dry areas as the day goes on. It feels like a really rugged foundation in that like I've done a lot of things today. Like, you know, I've worked out, I went to the movies, I walked to the movies, I walked home from the movies. Like I've done a lot outside. It's like a really warm day. I kind of been sweating and my foundation still looks really great. So I would give this a, let me say 8.5 to mostly 9 out of 10. I think this is one of the nicest foundation wears I've had in a long time. I don't know, when I do these wear tests, I'm like, I actually do love wearing foundation out and about, and I actually do love getting ready in the mornings. I'm just so lazy, and I do love that extra hour of sleep, which is why I don't. But this has inspired me, and I think I want to do them more often, and I have quite a few backlogged and even a concealer to try. So yeah, so that is my full wear test of this foundation. Really impressed, really impressed. Ilia was one of those brands I had always looked at and like wanted to know, but I never got the chance to because it was just like, I feel like it was a little unapproachable to me in that like this foundation you have to put on your hand, and that just kind of grosses me out. Still, the worst part of the foundation is the fact that they want you to apply like a serum. But because of Ulta Beauty World, and this is why I think like makeup conventions are so important, not just for like the free product of it all, but like genuinely, if it had not been for Ulta Beauty World, I would not have tried Ilia, and I would not have known how great it is. even when you go to like a beauty event and you just get samples or travel sizes. I love a travel size because sometimes the sample is just too small to know, but a travel size is like the right amount to know if you're gonna like the product or not. I found so many great products that way, and that's how I like to test products out. That's how I like to see how they work for me and then like learn about a brand. So I'm really grateful that I got a ticket to Ulta Beauty World last year. I'm really grateful that I got to try so many incredible brands, and I'm really grateful that I got to try Ilia because I really think this is, the brand as a whole is something really special, and I just really adore this foundation. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.